watching Car Nitty. My name is Mizan, and today I've got a BMW 330e for you guys. Now, this isn't just some cabbie's car that I've picked up and brought to you. It's actually a stage 1 tuned car, and it being a hybrid means when you tune it, it's going to have some serious potential. So who the hell buys a 330e? Well, when this car launched in 2016, it was aimed at company car drivers. The reason for that being a plug-in hybrid means it benefits from low tax. The 330i and the 330d, they're all cheaper to buy than this, but the difference is, if companies were to lease them, they would have to pay high tax. With this one, they were getting a massive reduction because it's a hybrid. For the average Joe, buying this is not going to benefit them because the high buying price will never be outweighed by the running costs. You won't save enough money, but for company car drivers, it was a completely different ballgame, and this is where this car is shown. This car is now, 6-7 years old now, and it has no place in the original department where it was made for. Company car drivers, they need newer cars. But this is where people like Joe have bought these, and they've now remapped it. In terms of performance, the 330e has got a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine which produces 249 brake horsepower and 320 Newton meters of torque. It's got a 7.6 kilowatt electric motor which produces 87 brake horsepower and 70 Newton meters of torque from the figures I've already mentioned. It's paired with a ZF 8-speed gearbox, and it sends its power to the rear wheels via an open differential. Unlike the 330i, this car's got a turbocharger as well as the electric motor, which means they're very tunable, which is why with a stage 1 tune, this car has got 356 brake horsepower and 530 Newton meters of torque. Let's now hit the road and see what a tuned BMW 330e is all about, and let's speak to the owner. Right guys, let's now give a nice warm welcome to Joe.
Alright mate, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for coming down. You've also brought your girlfriend and your child, baby down.
Yes, I did.
So, petrolhead family, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. we are all petrol heads.
Yeah. And you are the average Joe, aren't you? Because this car wasn't built for the average Joe, but you've made it one, haven't you?
Yeah, do you know what? I had to do something unique at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely. So, talk to me about the car, Joe. Why did you pick a 330e?
So, like, I was scratching my head about, what car I want next, because I kept getting just like project cars. Doing it for my own tuning company, just to get my name out.
Yep.
I've had a Seat Leons, Volkswagens, you name it, all tuned just to get my name out.
Yep.
And then obviously I was starting to have my little girl.
Yeah.
And me and my missus, we sat down and we thought, well, we need to have a proper car now.
Yeah. A family car.
Family car. Yeah. And I've always been interested in BMWs. My heart was really set on a 135i.
Yeah. So you bought it without knowing what it really offers, what it can do. You just know you needed a family car for your child and your girlfriend to get around in.
Yeah, literally. And obviously, like, with other tuners out there, when you do buy a car, you think, oh, what can I do for it? Yeah. I literally had no clue whatsoever. So you got very lucky when you just managed to buy a car that is very tuner friendly, isn't it? Very. And obviously this runs the newer ECU in them, so it's the MG1003 ECU.
Right.
Which, you can tune them, but it does take time.
I see.
And I think me and my file writer, we spent at least 4 days tuning this.
But now you've got this map unlocked, so any 330 that walks in. Literally
any 330e, if anyone else got a 330e.
What about 530es?
530es, yeah, okay. We can definitely do as well.
Do you think BMW, when they drew this car up, they thought that, hold on, when the company car drivers are done with this, people are going to do what they're doing with them now?
Do you know what? No, I don't think they do, because obviously if you really think about it, it's for businessmen. And
exactly.
It's for taxi drivers, and it's to get people from A to B and earn some money out of it.
Exactly. So you've obviously tuned the ECU, you're running a stage 1 map,
yep.
You've got a decap, and you've done the decap for some of the performance scheme, but also because you've got a pop and bang map.
Yes, that's correct.
And if you have a catalytic converter on a car with the pop and bang map, it will kill, it can really kill you.
Over in time it will just completely destroy
a cat, and it can cause other issues because it doesn't allow it to pass freely through the exhaust, isn't
correct.
it? The other thing I've noticed is, look, as we're just driving normally, we're driving on the petrol, by the way, it's not an electric mode, and the car is still quiet at 50-60 miles per hour speed. It's ridiculously quiet. So it just goes to show how you can have a car that's literally an electric hybrid, and it can do both.
It can do both, and literally the best thing about this one, obviously, when you do pops and bangs.
Yeah.
You know, there is police around.
Yep.
Stick it in drive, complete silence, and you're like...
You know what the maddest thing is, right? You know when people steal the cats off Priuses? They sound insane, they're so loud.
They do.
But your car isn't as loud as that, which doesn't make sense. Being an SE means the ride is really comfortable.
Yeah.
It's not, we're not flat bottoming out anywhere. It's just literally so nice. Those bags are really aggressive.
And so I haven't done anything to the handling either, but it does plan. But obviously with the electric, because the battery's in the boot,
it adds a lot of weight to the back.
It adds a lot of weight to the back.
Probably makes it really hard to spin this car around.
Yes, it does.
I can feel the weight. I can genuinely feel it. You should have told me I would have fasted and come out today. Correct me on this, right?
Yeah.
The Prius, for example, up to 30 or 40 miles per hour, wherever it is, electric motor, completely separate to the petrol, runs, cuts off, transfers it over. This car, they work together.
Yeah, they work together. So how it works, obviously, as soon as you put your foot down, you'll have something called e-boost, which then the electric motor will kick in for the turbo, and that's when everything just works together, and literally there is no lag.
It feels like a diesel, you're right. It feels like a diesel. It has
when we
that
go
torque.
top end, it will just keep pulling.
But that's the thing, exactly. So it has the best of both worlds. It has the diesel's low end torque, but it has the petrol engine's high RPM because...
Precisely. It's just a very weird combination, and you catch people out on this. 100%. You know, I've been against 135i's, you know, and they're like, I'm right behind them.
Because a 135 stock is 320 brake horsepower. So you have got more power, but whether it can get it down.
That's the thing. Unfortunately, that's the downside with this.
The weight is such a big thing as well.
It is a big factor, and you can probably have the best tyres, but it will still. It's just hard to get sometimes the power down, especially with weather like this today. It's a little bit damp. It will just slide.
And I think the fact that it is an SC and not an M Sport, and it's not had any suspension, is going to play a difference, because obviously the car is riding quite high, and it's got soft dampers, and it's just designed to soak up every pothole. It's not designed to just corner.
I completely agree.
That precision. So you can drive up to 50 miles per hour on the electric power, up to 50.
So I've got a button just down there, and it will just go full electric.
Full electric, and they claim range is 25, but realistically it's closer to 20. And it's a plug-in hybrid, but it can charge itself with regen through braking.
Yes, that's correct.
So it works very much like a Prius.
Yeah, very similar to a Prius. So soon, and even when you come off accelerator, it tells me on my dash it's charging itself. And
shout out to your remapping company for being able to unlock this ECU and you've done.
if you don't mind me shouting them out, so it's JA Custom Tuning.
Oh, JA Customs.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's an absolute guru when it comes to BMWs or anything.
So I'm now driving the 330e, and I have to say it's weird because those of you that watch the channel will know that I have a daily driver. It is a Prius. The R32 is too much to run, and I have a daily driver, and so I'm used to driving a hybrid car. But it's weird to be sat behind a BMW and for it to be silent. And what can I say so far? So the first thing is, around that bend there, I can feel like there's another engine at the back. You know how you talk about like the R32 is a nose heavy car? This car is boot heavy. It's honestly really crazy. I mean, if this was an estate, it'd probably feel a bit even more worse, wouldn't it? That is crazy, because as I go around the bend, so I have to tuck the front in, the nose in, then I have to remember, hold on, I've got a bum that I need to tuck in as well. This car tries to drive in electric mode for as much as it can. It only goes to petrol. It only moves to the combustion engine when it knows it has to. Because the Prius, for me, right? So I talk about. I'm gonna talk about Prius a lot because I just feel like everyone knows what a Prius is like. It's been around for almost 20 years now, so everyone knows what a Prius is like in terms of hybrid performance. And the way a Prius works is up to 30 miles per hour, it tries to use electric power. But if you're too heavy with the gas pedal, it will just go straight into petrol power. The conditions have to be perfect for it to be on electric mode, basically, because it doesn't want to strain the battery, and it won't do it. But this, it doesn't care. It will stay on electric for as much as it can.
Yeah, and the other thing is you can override this and just go complete electric.
Yeah, you can. Obviously, the override
so you've got the e-drive button that's at the bottom.
Next to the gearbox.
Literally, you just press it and it'll go maximum electric, and you can just stay in electric the whole time.
Okay, and that's basically where you take the car's thinking at the question, and it becomes a purely electric car.
Pure electric car.
Right now, it's using its own brain. Technology in this is very similar to the Prius, but one of the key differences, the Prius's hybrid battery and the petrol engine work separate. They work together, but they're separate. This one, they can work together because, as we spoke when you drove, they can give you that boost.
Yeah. So there will always be enough electric in the motor so you can use the e-boost. Okay. That will never run out.
Ah, okay. So there we go. That was one of my next questions. So it will always make sure that when you want to flick that gear stick into sport, it will give you that thump. I really dislike the steering, I have to say that, unfortunately, because it's very vague. I can't feel the front two wheels, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You really don't know where they are.
It feels like you're gliding.
Yeah, it feels like the road is so icy and you're just gliding across. It's so bad.
The only way to really counteract that, and some people do it, is lower the suspension, put on coilovers. I know this has got adaptive suspension on it, so when you do pull it in sports mode, it does stiffen everything up. But still, you still sometimes get that feeling as well.
Yeah, exactly. And even if the steering wheel stiffens, it will never feel natural.
No.
But the gearbox, honestly, ZF8 speed, it's an amazing gearbox in the standard cars. No matter what BMW you buy, it's just as good here. Yeah. Just as good here, honestly. What a gearbox. Who would have thought that it can even manage this electric motor that well with it? Oh, you can really feel the torque. Because your foot's on the gas pedal, you know. Yeah, you've got all the revs. I mean, 7,000 RPM. On a diesel, it would choke out at what, 6,000?
Yeah, that's about right.
So you get an extra 1,000, and that torque, that immediate torque is there.
You do, it does hit you back.
And those pops and bangs do make it. Oh, the weight is insane.
It's very back heavy.
Very back heavy. That was the weirdest little power slide I've done in my life, because
it made it so easy.
Because I'm thinking about where I'm going to put the rear, not the front.
But with this car, even if you do get the back end out, it's so easy.
Because of the weight.
Yeah. The weight transfer is completely different.
Honestly, it just feels like a. So I've driven a 118i on the channel that was mapped to 250 brake horsepower. This feels like that with obviously more power, but you do get that instant pull. It is very enjoyable to drive. Very enjoyable. And it's such a weird sensation because you feel the front go loose because the steering is all over the place.
Yeah,
honestly, the handling is genuinely poor, I have to be blunt, but then it's so weird with the extra weight behind you.
It is. And that's the thing, is like I said again earlier on, with it being so heavy back end as well, but when you do go into the corners and you can feel the back end going, but
it's a different fun. I can't explain it. You'd think it's such a horrible drive. It is a horrible drive. I'm not gonna, but it's like it's a brand new way of driving.
It is.
It's basically how fast will you drive a hearse with a coffin in the back. That's basically what I'm doing.
It is.
Because everything I do, I have to counteract with the fact that I'm carrying a large load, even though there's nothing in there.
It's so, like, again, you've got to think a little bit coming ahead with corners, especially stuff like corners like this. You've got to think, right, I've got to slow down a bit now, and you just got to proper think about it.
And honestly, the pops and bangs, it's ridiculous that we're running a hybrid electric car and we've got pops and bangs. Imagine someone putting pops and bangs in a Prius, we'd laugh to death. Honestly, it's a very enjoyable car to drive. And when this car came out, it got slated for the handling. It got slated, and unfortunately, rightly so, because this is honestly really bad. I mean, if this was on track, I'd be gutted. I'm losing tenths everywhere I go. But on a B road like this, where you're just having a blast and you're having a bit of fun, you don't mind it because it just has quirkiness.
Yes, it does.
It's just quirkiness. You're just having so much fun with the fact that the car reacts differently to your typical car. And honestly, your map just adds so much personality to it.
It does.
it's honestly a very fun little car, and I can see how you can do all of this when you're by yourself, but then the moment you've got the missus and the kids in the car,
it turns into a family car.
Exactly. Petrolheads don't typically love anything apart from cars that drink purely that. That applies to diesels, hybrids and EVs, but this car is proof that a petrolhead could fall in love with a hybrid setup. It doesn't interfere with the feeling of a combustion engine in sport mode, and not only will it give a better fuel economy when doing day-to-day duties, but it also gives you a boost when you're hammering on. The handling is no doubt a huge handicap, but I'd love to see what an M-Sport version would feel like. Would I buy a 330e? No, I wouldn't. I'd get myself the 330d for its straight 6 diesel engine, but would I fancy this over the 330i? I think I would, because it genuinely offers a lot more for the money. Either way, I'm glad that the phase of hybrids in between moving to pure EVs will have its quirks, and this will probably be the last chapter us petrolheads can enjoy before giving up the reins, as even the M340i is a hybrid car, and no doubt that will be a lot more fun than this. Thanks for watching. Do remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Take care.